Hey guys, welcome to This Explainer. Look, let's just be completely honest right out of the gate here. As husbands, we've all been there. You know the feeling. We have the absolute best intentions in the world. We open our mouths and suddenly, boom, we realize we've just stepped directly onto a massive communication landmine. We put our foot right in our mouths and we literally have no idea how we got there. So today, we are analyzing a wealth of advice from relationship experts, counselors, and marriage advocates to map out exactly where those hidden landmines actually are.
So let me just ask you, have you ever said the wrong thing? Have you ever tossed out a casual comment that you thought was totally harmless? Maybe you even thought you were being helpful, only to just watch your wife's face completely fall? Or suddenly feel the temperature in the room drop to freezing? Well, you're definitely not alone. As you'll see today, even the most innocent-seeming comments can cause unintended but incredibly real emotional pain. Get this. Counselor Samuel Rainey from Start Marriage Right shared this story about his early days of marriage. His wife had worked super hard to cook a meal his family used to make. He sits down, takes a bite, gets a little confused, and out of his mouth drops this absolute bomb. "That's not how my mom makes it." Oof, right? Now, he wasn't trying to be cruel. He was genuinely just confused about the cornbread. But man, it completely crushed her. It immediately set up this impossible standard she felt like she was failing. It's just so incredibly easy to make a destructive misstep, which is exactly why we need to map out this minefield together. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. 1. The foot-in-mouth problem. 2. Dismissing her reality. 3. The dangerous comparison trap. 4. Questioning her daily value. 5. Words that break trust. And finally, 6. Building a better connection. Starting right off with Section 1, the foot-in-mouth problem, or intent versus impact.
Intent is something you mean to say or do, whereas impact is the result of what you say or do. However, the impact isn't always what you intended. If we are not aware of our impact, then we may not know when a statement or action is hurtful to another person. Even if our intent wasn't to cause harm, someone lets you know that something you said or did is hurtful, what do? First, try not to become defensive or react negatively. Instead, pause, listen, and aim to understand how to be more intentional with your words and actions. Then, focus on the steps needed to move forward.
Moving into Section 2, dismissing her reality, and specifically, invalidating her feelings. The fundamental issue we face as guys is that what we think we're saying in our own heads is often drastically different from what our wives are actually hearing. See, as guys, we're naturally wired to fix things and fix them fast. So most of us use these phrases to try and de-escalate a situation. We see our wife getting stressed and we say, "Hey, calm down," or "It's really not a big deal," hoping to just lower the tension in the room. But the sources are unanimous here. These words absolutely invalidate her feelings. When you tell her she's crazy or overreacting, you aren't fixing anything. You're essentially telling her that her reality is wrong and her emotions aren't real. And guess what? Telling someone to calm down is pretty much scientifically proven to make them infinitely angrier. Which brings us to a very specific type of dismissal. According to a research paper published in the journal Communication Research, unsolicited or condescending advice, often called mansplaining, is incredibly damaging. Look, when you force your viewpoint onto her when she hasn't even asked for it, it doesn't make you look like the hero swooping in to solve the problem. It just makes her feel dismissed, less competent, and totally disrespected. It seriously damages the emotional safety of the relationship. Sometimes she really doesn't want to fix her. Mostly, she just wants a partner who will listen. Author Kevin A. Thompson points out a really fascinating dynamic here. A husband might see his wife working hard, feel genuine compassion for her, and say, "Hey, just do it later." His intent is purely, "Please go rest," but what does she actually hear? She often hears, "Your hard work is annoying me," or "I don't value your timeline or the effort you're putting into this right now." It's crazy, but our attempt at compassion actually lands as a critique. All right, on to Section 3, the dangerous comparison trap. Spoiler alert, she is not your mother. Guys, if there is a giant, bright red, flashing button you should absolutely never ever push, it's comparing your wife to other women, and especially to your own mother. "My mom never did that," or "You should really be more like my mom." The experts strongly warn that these phrases trigger incredibly deep insecurities. Your wife already feels a ton of pressure to be perfect, so comparing her to your mother completely erases her individuality. And then there's the classic, "Looks the same to me," when she asks about a new haircut or a new outfit. She's seeking validation. She wants to know that you notice her hard work and care about her. Brushing it off just tells her she's basically invisible to you. I really love how licensed professional counselor Christiana Njoku puts this. A husband's words can either be a sanctuary of love or a weapon of mass destruction. Think about that for a second. When we compare, critique, or just casually brush off our wives, we are literally wielding our words as weapons. We hold a massive amount of emotional weight in our marriages, and we have to be intensely responsible with that power. Moving to Section 4, questioning her daily value, also known as the invisible labor trap. Oh man, this one is a massive source of resentment in marriages today. Have you ever come home to a chaotic house and casually asked, "Hey, what did you do all day?" You might just be genuinely curious about her schedule. But the disconnect here is huge. When you ask that, what she hears is a full-on condescending attack. She hears, "I assume you sit around watching TV and doing absolutely nothing of value." It completely devalues the invisible, exhausting labor of managing a home, raising kids, or balancing all her daily responsibilities. As author Brittany Russ reminds us, any woman staying home to care for the family is not bored or sitting around the house all day. Guys, questioning a wife's daily effort completely ignores the exhausting reality of what she does. Instead of questioning what she did, we should really be stepping up and asking, how can I jump in and help right now?
Section 5. Words that break trust. These are the ultimate relationship killers. Okay, we've reached the heaviest part of this explainer. These are the absolute relationship killers. These are the phrases that go way, way beyond simple miscommunication. "I'm done. This marriage was a mistake. It's cheaper to keep you. Get out." Experts sternly warn that uttering these toxic phrases destroys the very foundation of marital trust. When you say "I'm done" or threaten a divorce, you are actively weaponizing abandonment. When you say it's cheaper to keep you, you're weaponizing finances, basically telling her she isn't a priority, she's just a line item on your budget.
And here is exactly why this matters so much. You cannot easily walk these phrases back. You can't just say, "Oh, my bad, I was just mad," and expect the slate to be wiped perfectly clean. Words that threaten the marriage create permanent scars. They destroy the emotional safety of your relationship, leaving this lasting imprint that tells your wife she is fundamentally not secure with you. Finally, Section 6, building a better connection through teamwork and healthy communication. Okay, so let's pivot to the resolution here. How do we actually fix this? Well, the sources offer some highly practical, expert-backed solutions. For example, All Pro Dad recommends a psychological shift. In an argument, we naturally default to "you are" statements, right? "You are nagging me. You are overreacting." That points fingers and assumes you know her motives. Instead, the experts advise shifting to "I am" statements. "I am feeling overwhelmed right now," or "I am struggling to understand." This takes a lot of vulnerability. It forces you to own your own personal feelings rather than attacking hers. And honestly, that shift is what fosters genuine connection. Here are 3 super simple, actionable steps derived directly from our sources to replace those toxic phrases. Step 1, pause and just listen without trying to fix the problem. Step 2, validate her feelings and reality. Even if you don't fully agree with her perspective, acknowledge that her feelings are 100% real to her. And step 3, simply ask, "How can I help you?" or "What do you need from me right now?" Because ultimately, as the Team Us podcast puts it, the best marriages have a teamwork mentality. The goal of communication with your wife isn't about winning an argument, proving your rights, or defending your ego. It is about functioning as a unified, supportive team. Think about it. When one of you wins an argument at the expense of the other, the whole team loses. Which brings us to our final point, and frankly, my challenge for you today. If you really want to clear the communication minefield in your own home, take this exact question to your wife today. Is there anything I say regularly that you wish I'd stop saying? Just ask it. Then sit back and simply listen. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain your intent. Just take it in. It's a powerful, proactive step that takes a lot of humility, but I guarantee you, it might just be the absolute best conversation you have for your marriage all year. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, guys. Let's get out there and build stronger teams.